We will start with the presentation by the speaker, followed by Q&A. Please mute the microphone during this session. If you have any question, you can write it down in the chat box, or you can ask a question during the Q&A. Attendance link will be posted in the chat box, so don't forget to register your attendance. And for your information, this event is organized by Department of Library and Information Science in conjunction with its 30th anniversary. So now let us move on to the main agenda. The topic for this last industry talk is trends and issues in Islamic literature and reference sources. Our speaker is Mr. Fazli bin Omar. He is currently the head librarian at Syed Muhammad Naqib Al-Attas Library, ISTAC IIUM. And IIUM alumni himself, he graduated with the Bachelor of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Heritage in Fiqh and Usul Fiqh. He has vast experience in this field since he has been working as a librarian for almost 20 decades, starting from June 2003. So today's session is definitely going to be a valuable one for us. I'm pretty sure of that. And without further ado, I'll pass the session to our speaker, Mr. Fazli. Please welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Norazlin, for a brief information and also introduction. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all of you. So I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me as the speaker for from the industry to share their experience and also to highlight some wisdom on the topic of the trends and issues in the Islamic literature and reference sources. So I would like also to congratulate to the DLIS, the Department of Library and Information Science, which I was also there before during my study in master level. So for their 30th anniversary. So it is almost decades also, the establishment of this Department of Library and Science. And actually the department actually contributes towards this librarianship, what we call librarianship potential librarians in IEM itself, because my colleagues also the product from this department as well as from the KICT. So I can share with you all the slides, my slides presentation today. Okay, this is my slides. Can you all see my slides? All right. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so the topic given to me is for the trends and issues in the Islamic literature and reference. So I'm now heading the Syed Muhammad Naqib Al-Attas Library. So one of the what we call the branch of the library from IUM lah. Okay, here we almost serve to the community of the postgraduate level, same as this Department of Library Science offer at the master and also PhD level. Over here we do have lots of collections. And what I can say, this Syed Muhammad Naqib Al-Attas Library consists of the vast collection of the manuscript. So we have over here around 2,500 in the printed manuscript, so which is the largest collection of the manuscript in Malaysia. And if I'm not mistaken, in this Southeast Asia, we also what we call the largest collection of manuscript. So we are also invite the researcher to come to our library to see and also put the study for our manuscript because our manuscript consists of from various subjects. Islam, we do have Islam, civilization, we do have under the Quran, tafsir, and we do have under this what we call physics, astronomy, and etc. So besides that, we also have over here this kind of what we call special collection, rare books and very odd size, the huge size of the book we also invite others. So this is to market our library, so that the Department of Library Science, the Department of ICT can send you all the students over here to see and then to explore more and to share with others. And then now we are developing our system to scan images of the manuscript to share with all, and also can be accessible anywhere, anytime, any location, from Gombak, from Malaysia, from outside Malaysia. So that is to begin the promotion a bit from our library. Okay, this is the objective of my talk today. So to provide understanding of Islamic sources, because we have to know what's actually the Islamic sources itself, and is what are the subject covered by our Islamic reference. Okay, and then number 2 is to identify the key issues and also challenges. So these challenges not only for the what we call the subject itself, not only the subject itself, but for the person, the what we call the key player of the who is going to work on the Islam, ustaz, for example, for our ustaz, for our lecturers, for our librarian, for our what we call mass community, so that they know what are the issues, the current issues, and what are the challenges they are heading forward towards this 21st century. And number 3 is to explore potential channel and also medium to acquire relevant Islamic sources. So this is very important because we have to actually to have a very good what we call very good tools and also outstanding and also reliable tool in order to have to get as much as possible the Islamic sources. Not only the Islamic sources, it is relevant. It is relevant to ourselves, relevant to our community, relevant to our children, relevant to our family. Why? This relevant information is very important, because once we have a very relevant information, that information is called authoritative. That information is very reliable. Once we have a very reliable and also authoritative, you can say based on the what we call the based on the fact, based on the fact. So these are among the objective of my presentation today. All right. So once we talk about the Islamic literature, what is actually the Islamic literature? So it is actually the literature written by the Muslim people, influenced from an Islamic cultural perspective, or literature that portrays all aspects of Islam. Okay, meaning that this Islamic literature is not only for the zakat itself, or not only for the subject of the prayers itself. No. Actually, the Islamic literature covers all aspects, all subject in Islam. So we do have what's the subject in Islam. We do have the Quran. Okay, we do have the Quran. We do have the Sunnah. We do have the Ijma. We do have the Qiyas. We do have in forms of this fiqh. We do have in the Mu'amalat, banking system, social aspect, psychology, economics, law. So all the subject actually covers under the Islamic literature. Okay, so once we want to refer, for example, once we want to have issues, when we face any issues, when we want to know about something, for example, about tahara, or about what we call about fiqh, so we have to refer to the what we call to the fiqh books, to the fiqh kitab, for example. Once we want to know about the economic, we have to refer to the economic books. Same like our the rest of the subject in modern world. For example, you want to know about the ICT, you go to the book of the ICT. Same goes to the Islamic literature. And also, it is written by the Muslim people. So these Muslim people, we do have what we call from the entire world, not only in Malaysia, not only the Southeast Asia or Asia, it comes from the Europe. Those are written from the Europe, but they are Muslim. But according to Muhammad Qutb, so he extend this Islamic literature to the non-Muslim who wrote about Islam, so that they can get, so Muslim can have a very, they can what we call compare the ideas of Islam from the other perspective, and then see what's are the gap, what's are the hole between, what are the bridge between the Islam perspective, and also how do the Orientalists or non-Muslims see Islam from their perspective. So this is how the what we call Sheikh Qutb, Muhammad Qutb, extended from the this Islamic literature. Okay, go back to the reference. What are the meaning of the reference? Because we do have issues and trends for the Islamic literature and also reference. So reference meaning that we a mention of something. So we mention whether it is in our articles, we mention, we acknowledge something in our book, in our writing, in our assignment, in our project paper. So why? Because we refer to that particular things, regardless of the types. So it is in forms of the what we call books, or it is articles, or it is conference paper. This is from the academic world, from the academic world. So once we combine all this Islamic literature, referencing, etc. So once we have this referencing to the Islamic literature, it is actually the literacy which enables a researcher to acknowledge the work of Islam and Muslim, to attribute sources by creating citation and generating accurate bibliographies. So this is literacy. That means it is a kind of knowledge, another steps of knowledge, because we have to have a very what we call standard and also proper by citations when we refer to others. So this is to ensure that we acknowledge the work of others, we acknowledge what we call the writings of others. So, and also we can see that we can avoid also the plagiarism. So by properly reference to any literature, regardless of the types and also format, for example, the books, we refer to the books, the citation of the book is different from the citation of the articles. Okay, once we refer to the conference paper, once we what we call acknowledge the work of the conference paper, it is different from the edited book, and etc. So, and now we have this kind of the referencing also to the what we call mass media. Mass media, for example, from this what we call social media. So this social media also have a kind of the proper way to cite from them, so that we acknowledge the work of others. We what we call we promoting the subject and written by others as well. So we can have a groups of the researcher who work on the same subject, on the same topic, and then we can see what are the gap between all this researcher. For example, the researcher A, the inclination towards this subject. Researcher B, the subject, researcher C, the subject, and then comes another researcher. They want to see, okay, what are the things that they want to focus more. So these are also contributes towards the research activities, and then which is enriched, shows the enrichment of this what we call subject and topic in Islam. All right. So in this field, reference sources in the field of the what we call librarianship, reference sources is almost referred to a book designed by the arrangement and also treatments of its subject matter, and then being consulted for definite items of information rather than to be read consecutively. So that means this is from the different perspective, which under the librarianship, we refer to these kinds of sources on occasional basis. For example, we would like to know about the terms of gift, for example, sadaqah. Yeah? In Islam, we call it sadaqah. And then we want to see what are the terms sadaqah is talk about. So we refer to the reference book. Yeah? Regardless of the types, we do have the encyclopedia, we do have the dictionary. This is from the Islamic, from the librarianship work. So this reference source is almost referred as this the beginning of our assignment. For example, for our students, they almost in this field, in this what we call Islamic subject field, they have to refer what are the terminology, lughatan wa istilahan, like that. They refer what is the what we call the word stands to what we call to define. They define the words. So that after that they come up with their own what we call theoretical basis. So this book, almost in this library, we can see the reference sources is under one collection. We call it reference collection. So in this reference collection, it gives a very quick answer to our question. For example, if you want to know a very general and in a very quick manner, we have to refer to these reference sources. And then alhamdulillah, now we do have a very, what we call reference sources also available in the internet, using our internet. For example, the Wikipedia, the Encyclopedia of Islam, the Encyclopedia of Britannica. You just type anything in this particular platform portal. So you will see, you will get the meaning of that particular words. Whether it is, for example, this gift, or sadaqah, it will give to you the meaning of sadaqah from the literary as well as the istilahi. And we can see from this different perspective. For example, the sadaqah from the economic parts, what it tells about. From the Islamic part, what it tells about. What are the factors, what we call the key things, the pillars of this sadaqah, in order for us to get reward from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So it will give us a very straightforward. Okay, right. So another things for the reference sources from the librarianship is it is any material, published work, database, website, and etc., which is used to obtain authoritative information. So that means once we refer to this particular types of the reference, for whatever we speak, for whatever we write, it is actually from the authoritative information. This is the what we call it cater the needs of the project, the needs of the assignment from the lecturer, the needs of the supervisor, for example, from the thesis supervisor. Okay, so to tell you all the types of the sources, there are two types of the sources from this reference. It is a compilation that furnish information directly. So, for example, it is a dictionary, encyclopedia. So that means whatever you want to search for any subject, for any terms of words, for any jargon, you can directly type or can refer directly to this dictionary in also encyclopedia. And then this particular format of the reference will give you the answer. So another thing is a compilation that refers to other sources containing information such as indicating places to get information. For example, catalog, bibliography, indexes, and etc. That's mean, for example, for the catalog, it will tell us the catalog of the ICT, for example, the catalog of the ICT authors from information science. So we list down to us all the writing, all the articles of the books written on this particular subject from what year to what year. So you can refer to this catalog. Bibliography also, and also indexes. Indexes, there are indexes of the subject, there are indexes of the name, there are indexes of the title. So once you refer to index, so you can see they will put the pages and then you can refer to that particular page. So this index actually at the end of the books. At the end of the book, you can see any books at the last page, there are index, whether it is subject, whether it is author. And it mentioned to us the page of that particular terms, that particular subject. All right. So, okay, not only we know what are the subject, what are the sources, reference sources, we have to know also how to evaluate those kind of resources. So this is in particular, so I mix over here from the industries, for example, from the librarianship, we have to see the physical features of those particular source. For example, whether it is the book that we have for this book, whether it is hardcover or softcover. So it depends on the policy of the library itself. It depends on the policy of the institution, whether they want to hardcover or softcover. Hardcover is much more expensive rather than softcover, but this hardcover is long lasting. So you can what we call share in a good manner. So it is a very what we call very smooth. If you chef on the shelf, you can see it's very what we call all together. It's chef according to this what we call hardcover. So binding tape and also printed version or the online version. Scope of contents, whether this scope of content, whether the what we call the sources is from what we call printed or online. If it is online, whether it has a full text or not, or the content is comprehensive enough that we can see all the pages, or only the abstract, or only the title, or only the what we call the bibliography information only. Okay, authority. Authority is very important for the students to see whether the what we call the information that we have from the expert. We can see the author's education experience. Normally, what's the tips to know whether the information that we have, it is from the authoritative. We must see the author itself, they will put their name. There is one indicator, as well as to what institution that they are belong. If they are belong to the DLIS, Department of Library Science, they will put the library science over there. If they are from the IEM, they will put the name of IEM over there. They are not hiding the information of themselves. They will, as much as possible, they want to highlight what are there, what they are, and then from where. And then from here, we also can see whether there are well-known and reputable publisher, the author itself and also the publisher. If you can see, it is from the IEM Press, almost, of course, anyone know this is from IEM. Kan? If it is from the what we call the Elsevier, for example, very prominent Elsevier, this is from the Cambridge Press. So we already know this is from a very reputable publisher. So from this authority also we can see if it is from the online version, we can see what are other things, what are other types of the books that published by this particular publisher. Once we click to this particular publisher, they will link to other what we call other books published by them. As well, the same thing goes to the author. If we click to the author, for example, we click to Dr. Norazlin, so we will see the other writings from Dr. Norazlin. So we'll put together in one platform. Okay, the arrangement of the content, whether it is alphabetic or chronology or classified. So from the Islamic sources, alphabetic is almost we can find under the inside the dictionary or encyclopedia, alphabetical order A, B, C. For the chronology, we can see under the history, the encyclopedia of the history. For example, Rihlah Ibn Battuta. It is from the chronology, from where he went from here to there, here to, and then from this particular, it is chronology. Classified is according to the subject. Okay, we can see almost this classified under the Kitabut Turath, the very old classical we call it classical book of the Islam. For example, from the fiqh, I give you the fiqh, it will begin every single books under the fiqh, under fiqh, from taharah. From taharah, you go to any schools of thought, whether it is from the what we call Hanafiya, Hanbali, or from Shafi'i. So all they begin with the taharah, kitab al-taharah. So we'll find all the same classified. Okay, the last part is under the course, whether we will go to printed or non-printed. So before this, yes, of course, we go for the printed, and also the time once time change, there are new technology comes with the ICT. So the non-printed or online version is almost at the on top of our priority. Okay, it will give different what we call, as the time goes, so the policy also change. So, and also the cost also different. The cost also different. Online version, whether it is from the individual library or it is from the consortium. Okay, whether it is a single or multiple user license. So this also give the different cost to the institution or to the library. Length of use and also concurrent use. Whether it is one single use or concurrent use, that means anyone can access the same books, the same database at the same time. And then we have to see also the after sale service, and whether the publisher give to us their on trial. Okay, these are the Islamic sources and overview. As I said before, that it is actually any format covers all subject, and then covers all period of time from the zaman the Rasulullah, the period of Rasulullah, and also before that until us now, for any types of the language, Bahasa, English, Arab, Urdu, Persian. So we invite, if you know a Persian, we do have here in this text the Persian language, the book in Persian language, the book in Urdu language. So you almost welcome over here. Okay. So, and also from the Muslim and also non-Muslim. So because the Islamic books, the Islamic culture is actually the culture of book, because of the words. The first revelation to our prophet is Iqra. So that means that should be the culture of us, the culture of Muslim, the culture of Muslim. And we have to know that the center of Islamic extension is the Al-Quran itself. Revelation of the Quran is actually, this is the center of us. And to share with the views, students and all, that actually before this, the librarian in Islam, they call waraq. The waraq, and there is he performed the link between the scholars and also public. The job of waraq is actually to copy the manuscript, to write the manuscript in the what we call in the leather, in the what we call trunk tree. So, and they sometimes put their comments, their hashiyah, their tafsir inside this particular leather. And then always this waraq is often being the first professional being consulted by scholars, because they write whatever the scholar said. So they transfer from the words of mouth, the words into the letter. So this is the job of the waraq. Besides, he also gather all the information, all this particular book under one, and then rearrange. So it is the concept of the librarian now in this decade. Okay, so these are some issues in this Islamic literature and also references. So actually there are numerous literary works that can be classified as Islam. So as Islamic. So the writers tend to portray that this is from the Islamic perspective. So once we see this Islamic writing, so due to the numbers, so sometimes we are in ambiguity whether it is true or not. Whether it is true or not. So number 2 is threat from the Orientalist preachings. They just use the mask of the Islam and then try to put some words, but actually this word sometimes, if you see carefully, actually it is a threat for the Muslims. It is a threat for the Muslims. Normally it is the latest in this century. So there are anonymous author, sometimes only words over there, only their writings, but there is no author associated with those writings. And then if we hear or if we read these particular articles or writings, it is very convincing, and then very authoritative, very reliable. But the author is not there. So how we ourselves in this century whether we can get this source of information or not? So whether our supervisor accept or not this kind of what we call this kind of information, if you were to put inside our thesis, assignment, or project paper. Ubiquitous information, it is ready anyway. If you search to the internet, you can get anything. If you search inside our social media, using this what we call using this particular, for example, Instagram, many things lah. You type anything, you can get. Is that right? So the issue is that whether this is reliable or authoritative. Ambiguity of information, information explosion, too much of information. Too much of information. You type in the Google, there are millions. If you are using our online database also, there are thousands. So if you were about to read all these thousands, so how many days we have to spend in order to read all of them? So this is a skill of be selective, a skill to get a very relevant information out of this recall information. Expansion and rapid changes of ICT. So we are in this period of time, the what we call the invention or the what we call the development of the social media. So just after the internet, and then now we go to the social media. So we are these changes of this ICT give an impact also to the Islam, as well as its resources. Okay, for the part of the issues by our librarian, for the to name over here under the collection development. So knowing what to select. So from this different format, which one to select first? Which is the priority of us? How to acquire? Where are the vendors who actually can supply this format or that format? And then how much the cost of this? And of course, the cost, the resources, and the finance implication is very great. What we call effect to the library, because from years to years we are being cut off of the budget. I think the same thing goes to the kuliah, is right? So we are experiencing the same things throughout the campus, and I think our colleagues also from the other institutions also face this what we call budget cut year by year. And number 3 is deciding how to process and what to process. So actually the process of the printed, the physical part is different from the online version. And then how you want to transfer the information from the resources itself into the bibliographic information, what to be put inside there. And then the last part, how to make it accessible. Accessible not only for our students, but the rest of the people outside there. What's to be put, what are the platform, what are the bridge between the non-registered member as compared to the registered member. So this kind of things give an impact and give the what we call headache lah. Headache to our people, to the librarian, to those who involved in this particular business. Okay, to come out a very comprehensive. We cannot say that we have to fulfill all the needs of our clients, of our counterparts. But as much as possible, we try to harmonize, to be what we call sustain, balance between all of them. So, okay. So I what we call want to say over here actually for the Islamic sources, for the Islamic reference, on particular for all Islamic subject, the key, the primary sources are in the Arabic language, most. So to say here, those who are able to know Arabic, and if you can speak Arabic, that's marvelous lah. So know Arabic, know the Arabic language. This is the advantage for you all, because most of the what we call Islamic subject written in this Arabic language. So you will know directly from the major, from the authoritative, for the vast collection of the Arabic language. So, but of course, the Arabic language also have what we call challenges. But what I would like to say over here, the Arabic has around 5 million words, derived from around 11,300 roots, as compared to 400,000 keywords in English. But altogether in English, there are 1.3 million. This is from my year 2011. So this is the statistic. So from a single root, we can derive from 10 to hundreds another words in Arabic. So the Arabic language also have their developments, and also can be classified into the 3 major categories. The first one is the classical written Arabic, CWA, which is used in the Holy Quran in Arabic old literature, in the classic. So normally this classic written Arabic is used to be the reference to our student, to the Arabic knowledge student, to the what we call Islamic studies student, not only in IEM but also in UM, UKM, those who are offered in the Islamic studies, not only in Malaysia, but I think the rest of the world also, the rest of the country which offer the Islamic studies, they refer to this classical written Arabic. Okay, number 2 is modern standard Arabic, MSA, which is the modern Arabic used in the Arabic world, in their modern literature, books, TV, radios, and newspaper. This also used by in IEM and other higher learning institution. Okay, the third one is the what we call the natural language. The natural language, because or they call it lahjah. The use, for example, in Saudi Arabia is different. Their what we call their natural language different from the those in Egypt. Those in South Africa also different from the other rest, from the Sudan. So this is the what we call it the natural language. So these are among the challenges once we for the Arabic. Why is it challenges? Because of we want to search and then get the information itself by using different tools. Okay, Arabic is the root-based and highly derivational language with a rich vocabulary. So once we search using the keywords, natural language, if the title is in the natural language, then we can get the book, we can get the hit. But if it is in the standard language term, the keywords that we are using, and also the book is also using the what we call the standard keywords, standard words, then we can get it. The problem is that once we are using the natural language and then the books, the title, the information is in the standard language, we cannot get this particular hit or books or information. The same thing goes to the single or plural. Single or plural. Let's say we want to search for the tilmidun or tulab, which is the student. In Arab, tulab, talib, and we call it student, talib. And then if we put different, not talib, we cannot get this particular book or information on talib. Talib is single, tulab is plural. So if the book say or written in tulab, with tulab we also cannot see. Same thing goes to students and also students, single, plural. Okay. Number two, the fact that different location in the Middle East use different choice of word. For example, sahifah and also jaridah. But both are newspaper meaning. But in terms of this is synonym of sahifah and also jaridah. So it depends on the system itself. If the system can trace with this sahifah and jaridah using this semantic relationship, alhamdulillah we can get. If there is no the semantic relationship between sahifah and jaridah, we cannot say lah. Otherwise, we have to put both lah, sahifah, jaridah in our keywords, then we can get. Okay, but we don't know whether the researcher, the writer, which one they are using in their writing. Okay. Okay. Number three, in written Arabic, the vowels diacritic are omitted. As a result of the omission, the words tend to have a high level of ambiguity. For example, Allah and also Ali. You can see over here, it is the same. It's the same. The writing is the same, Ali. Or if you put Ali, so those words of Allah also, the system will trace. So it cannot differentiate between Ali and also Allah. Besides, only us lah. We are the user. Okay. And also, for example, from the root word, we can generate nominal and verbal derivative by application of the templates and morphological rules. One can get up to 30 words formed in 3 consonant root words. For example, liyufawidunahum, to negotiate with them. So in one single word, so it actually consists of this meaning. So what we have over here, lam is actually the antefix, meaning to. Ya, this ya is prefix, a letter meaning the tense. It is current, it is present tense. The yufa, this is present tense. Fa wada, it is actually, this is the root word. Fa wada, fa alif wad dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is rubai. So we do have the sulasi, rubai, khumasi, sudasi. So all these particular words. Negotiate. Waw nun is terminology of conjunction. So this is plural. This is plural in Arabic language. Hum is actually pronounced them. Hum is actually for the plural hum. Okay. So this, if you put fa wada with the root words, of course this cannot be traced inside the system. So you have to put, if you want to search all this, so you have to search liyufawidunahum, and then the system will trace. Okay. And okay, those are if you are writing in the Arabic, but if you want to transliterate using this what we call the Romanization Table, always in our bibliographic information of the books and etc. we put this a kind of what we call alternative to the Arabic. Yeah, this is a very standard. So sometimes we tend to put zai, for example, zai, which is zai, zai for th or dh, which is the standard is the. The standard is the is dh. So this is the standard. Sometimes for Sharia, we tend to use sy. But over this transliteration or romanization, there is no SY. Actually, it is SH. So the words to pronounce in the transliteration in the standard format is actually Sharia, SHA, RIAH. So that is for the Sharia, not SYE. So if you are using normally in Malaysia, we put Sharia SY. So we have only Mahkamah Sharia. We don't have a kind of Sharia in this Arabic. All right. And perhaps I want to highlight also the author search in order to see to get the author name and what are their writings. For example, sample name Imaduddin Abu Abdullah Muhammad bin Muhammad Al-Khatib Al-Isfahani, a very famous Isfahani, the writer for the Islamic studies. So actually this is the real name, but in entry in our catalog it is actually Khatib Al-Isfahani, Imaduddin. So this is the what we call the standard name, the standard name that we are using. So Taqiyuddin Hanafi, Imam Hanafi, so actually Ibn Hajjah Al-Hamawi. This one Muhammad ibn Ismail Ja'fi, Bukhari Al-Ja'fi, Bukhari Muhammad bin Ismail. So this is the standard name. Imam Malik, actually his name, the real name is Malik bin Anas bin Malik bin Omar Al-Asbahi. And then in the entry, in the standard name, we call it Malik bin Anas. Tufia Sana 795. So this is the classical name. So there is no, so if you search, for example, we want to search for Malik, or we put only Malik, so there are lots of Malik. But our intention is to search for the Imam Malik. Same goes to the Al-Ghazali. We want to search for Al-Ghazali, and we don't know. We just put Abu Hamid Muhammad ibn Muhammad Al-Ghazali, and then we found nothing. But actually, the name is Ghazali. Ghazali with the date. Okay, this is the modern name. It's very straightforward. Wabah Zuhaili, we put Zuhaili Wabah, just like a surname for this our Arab English name, surname. Muhammad Ali Sabuni Muhammad Ali. So without alif lam, Okay. So to end, I would like to share over here also. This is the Kutub Uturaf, and this is shows the reach of Islamic collection, the enormous of our Islamic sources, because in this Islamic studies, what we call reference and also sources, this have to be the primary of our reference for the Islamic students. Not only for Islamic students, for us who would like to know about the Islam, who would like to know about the subject of the Islam, who would like to dig more information to know what we call deeply and also precisely on the topic. So I want to share over here, because this particular book, if you search using the concept of the terminology or the terms, we are usually using the subject. We are actually using the topic, the topical on any parts of the subject. We cannot get this particular book. Because of what? Because of the name is also different. This book, if you want to search and if you want to know about those who's who, the author, the scholars, you can always refer to this A'jam Mu'jam Mu'allafat or Wafayatul A'yan. So the title also different. If we search Rijal or who's who, by using the words Rijal, we cannot get the what we call this particular book. If you want to search any terms, to refer to any term, or we call it encyclopedia, so this one, Encyclopedia of Islam, if Fazli Ibn Nadim, there is no such encyclopedia over here. Like Kashfuz Zunun, there is no mention about encyclopedia or Fihris over here. Sometimes you call it Fihris, sometimes Fihrisat. This is a term for the encyclopedia. Dictionary, Lisanul Arab, Qamus, Al-Muhit, Tajul Urus. If it is Qamus, okay lah, because this reflect to dictionary, but Lisanul Arab and Tajul Urus different. But this one is for the dictionary. Terms and jargon, mufradatul raghib, kasyaf, islahul funun, miftahul funun, sunnah. So we refer to here in general in subject of Islam to know about the terms and terminology we can refer over here. So for geographic, mu'jam, location, masalik, mamalik, journey, rihlah ibn batuta, books, resources, ma'al maktabah Arabia. Actually, all these actually encyclopedia. But the way the writer, the author, what we call arrange according to this particular things. And then once we want to know, it is under the classical before 1800th century. So we can refer over here. That's why it gives us to know better about the alam, the world of Islam, the world of the Islam. Okay, if you want to see, search for a very specific, those who are contributing to the faith, contributing to the Quran, contribute to the Hadith, Sunnah. So these are the kitab, the books you can refer, and then always keep very authoritative and also reliable across the period of time. Tabaqatul Syafi'iyah, this is for the Syafi'i. Tabaqah Syafi'iyah Kubra, Tabaqah Hanafiyah, Tabaqat Hanabilah. So this is the who's who, the rijal, the people who are contributing in this particular school of thought, Syafi'i. So we can know lah. This one is the what we call the student of what, of who. So this is the guru or the teacher of whom. So this is Tabaqat Hanafiyah, Hanabilah. Under the Quran, Tabaqat Mufassirin, this Suyuti, the interpretation by the Suyuti. This is by Dawoodi. So they all have their own people. And then once we refer to here, we know already who are the people inside there. Hadith, Jarah wa Ta'dil, Mizan wa I'tidal. So this all already there. Only us, our students, and we ourselves have to refer to have a very reliable and also authoritative. For Sufism, poetry, for nasab, so all this the example of the book. Tabaqatul Sufiyah for Sufism, we call it what we call Aqidah. Hilyah Awliya wa Tabaqatul Asliya, Syi'r wa Syu'ara, literature. Those who are very good in the literature would like to know about the literature can go to the Syi'r, Tabaqah Syu'ara Ibn Salam. So nasab Quraish, Al-Babu fi Tahdhib al-Asbab. So if you want to know if you are from Quraish, from our prophet maybe, so you can refer to here. Okay, from the history, poems, saraf, grammar. So bidayah wa nihaya. There is no such the tarikh, only this one, tarikh Ibn Khaldun. Poems, mu'allaqat, wahsyat, kitab Sibawayh. This is for nahwu wa saraf. Grammar, Arabic grammar. Okay, if you see over here, this aqidah Fisal al-Faslu fil Milal wa Nihal. So all talk about aqidah and also philosophy. Okay, faith. So we can what we call categorize it to Hanafi, Syafi'i, Hanbali, Maliki. For the Syafi'i, Kitabul there is no such they put faith over here, but only Al-Um. Al-Um is our translate it to mother. So totally different. Mother and also faith different. Okay, Bidayatul Mujtahid, Zadul Mi'ad. For usul fiqh, Ar-Risalah, Ahkam fil Usul. This usul fiqh is actually talk about the fiqh, the pillars. This also pillars of the fiqh. It talks about the qawaid, the kaidah, the pillars, how to come out with the fiqh. From what is derived for certain injunction, in the Islamic jurisprudence. So hadith, Sahih Bukhari, Muwatta Imam Malik, there is no such hadith, Sunan Abi Dawud. So please refer to here. So Ulumul Hadith, Quran, Tafsir Ibn Abbas, Tafsir Ibn Kathir. So for Quran also there are different types of the interpretation. The interpretation according to this what we call to the topical interpretation. There are what we call tafsir according to the grammatical information. So you always refer to here, and then you say we can see lots of the huge number or the huge collection of the Islam. And this is also to share with you all from the structure of the call number. So actually, this is actually the Kitab Matan Ghayat wa Taqrib, for example. So by Abi Shuja. So it is almost around 40 pages. Dr. Azlin. So only 40 pages. This one. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Blah 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 blah. So it is very concise, precise, and also very to summarize. So this is from our first scholars. So this is Kitab al-Tahara. So this is Kitab al-Fiqh. So al-miyahul lati yajuzu biha. So it is very concise, very precise. And then, so it comes the next person who interpret the first matan, the first text. So Syarah Alamah Syekh Muhammad Qasim. Okay, make it bigger. So Fathul Muqrid. So from the first book, so see here how he interpret more kitab. Actually, the writer want to say about Kitab Ahkam al-Taharah. And then Kitab Lughatan. So he translate or interpret more what are actually the first author want to say. So actually this one is actually the text of the first book. Kitab Taharah al-Miyahul Lati. So this text is actually here. Okay, this second person interpret like this. All right. So and then come the third person, we call it Hashiyah, and then he Hashiyah Syekh Ibrahim Bajuri, and then he also interpret the other things. See here, Kitab Ahkam al-Taharah. So it come from here, Kitab Ahkam al-Taharah. So he elaborate more. So this is the first, very simple. Come here. This is in volume, Doctor and audience. So this in volumes, 4 or 5 volumes. Come here. This is still 7 or 10 volumes. So this is how. And then come this Hamish. So interpret more. So Kitab Ahkam al-Taharah over here. So he interpret more, combining 2 or 3 kitab under one single kitab. So for us, we can always refer to here to see the primary source. We can always offer here to see what are the second interpretation of that particular text, that particular subject. And then we come over here, what are the third generation. Want to see whether this is from that particular location or a period of time. And then this is for the comparison between all this. If you refer to here, always you have all this 1, 2, 3 over here. But always our supervisor asks us, if we are student, go and then see the first primary here. And then once you get over here, then you know how this, what we call, this information derived from the first place. All right. So, and then this is in our system. In our system, a very long call number. This is actually the call number, and then this is actually the bibliographic information, and then how we derive. And actually BP is for Islamic law, 153. Okay, A167 is for Abi Shuja. So T is for Takrib. So this is actually the first kitab I mentioned to you, Abu Shuja. The name of the kitab is Takrib. So it is actually under the Islamic law. So come for this Ghazi, interpret the work of Abu Shuja. And then comes this Bajuri, Bajuri Ibrahim. He compile all this 1, 2, 3 over here. This is how to show that in this one particular part, our student can benefit a lot, can have a different types opinions of the researcher, of our scholars, and then this is how the work, the acknowledgement, the citation, the acknowledgement and the reference in the Islamic work, Islamic subject. So sometimes, okay, so this is to share with the audience, with Dr. So this is actually the name of the book. Sometimes it's referred to Ghayatul Ikhtisar. The name of the book, sometimes it called Matan Ghayatul wa Taqrib, sometimes it called Matan Abi Syuja, refer to the person who write. And then from this, what we call actually from the first text, so there are scholars, 1, 2, 3, 4, come out with another interpretation. So you see, for this Iqna, for this Kifayatul Akhyar, so there is always Hamish, the third what we call interpretation, Sharah. So this for this one, this for this one, and then for the Iqna, there are 1, 2, 3. So this is how to show you all the link between one kitab to another kitab. So this is how. This is one example. Actually, there are lots, Doctor, and also audience. There are lots, and then this is how to share with you all. This is the classical book of Islam, where you can benefit lots. You can benefit lots. This is show how the emergence of the ilmu, knowledge, and also hikmah of Islam throughout the world. And then how we can see over here our scholars very deep, very critical, and very critics in their mind. From 140 pages, they can come out with 10 volumes. So for us, can we take the challenge to write in such? For me myself to come out with this lecture, I have to spend a week to come out. What are the things that I have to I want to talk about with 20 pages of slide, 30 pages, 25 pages. But these our scholars, 7, 10 volumes. One volume consists of 400-500 pages. So this is shows how our thinkings and also our greatness of our scholars. So in conclusion, Islamic literature is seen to be a very reliable and also authoritative sources fulfilling comprehensive functions of human, plays a major role propagating the message of Islam, serving the interests of Muslim community in lively and also aesthetic manner. Thank you so much. I ended for my what we call sharing. Okay, back to you, Dr. Azmin.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fazli, for the interesting and valuable talk. Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. Never know that we do have this, and looking at the work of the scholars, I'm very, very impressed actually at their dedication in translating that first, what do you call that, matan?
Matan.
Yeah, very impressed. So I don't even think I could do that for even one page. Okay. All right. Now let's open the floor to questions. Okay, if you have any question to ask, you may unmute and introduce yourself followed by a question.
Assalamualaikum, Fazli. Can I ask first, because I have another meeting after this. First of all, I really actually appreciate the time that you have spent for us, and then I also very amazed on the thing that you have shared today, especially on the manuscript collection. I have a few things here. One is, last time we know that we have Dr. Wan, right, in KICT now. Dr. Wan is now in stack. Last time, just to share that with Dr. Azrin also, Dr. Wan is was with us at the LIS, and then he's an expert on manuscript, especially on Malay manuscript. And then I remember we had one lab that showing all the Malay manuscript collection, and then in fact there's one, I think one time he also had brought all the manuscript collection at the Ayat library, main library, and we had a showcase there. It was very interesting. But now, since Dr. Wan left us, and then I think the awareness among our students now it's, yeah, because last time we had that in a live, I mean, physical collection, and then we can see it, and we know that the collection, the age of the collection was so, I think 100, even more than that. And then it's very I can see that it's those who have experienced that is very lucky to see that. And then because it's not easy actually to get access in front of it. And then even last time when I did my PhD, it was related with Malay manuscript. It's really hard to get access to the physical collections. And then because of it is very delicate and those things lah. There's a lot of guidelines and do's and don'ts kan. And then one thing about yang tadi Mr. Fazli mentioned about the preservation part where you did mention about something to do with the preservation, digitization, kan, the collection. Can you share what is actually what ISTEC are currently doing, and then is there any like a specific platform that we can get access to know more about the manuscript collections? And then maybe if you have like a specific tools to help us to do the transliteration, maybe Mr. Fazli can share with us today.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zaidah, for your question. First and foremost, I actually welcome our students, our lecturer, to hear ISTEC, to see the original manuscript. So you can search and you can see all our manuscript actually inside our library catalog. So the accession number, there are MSS Arabic, MSS Urdu, MSS what we call Turkish. So we have all those inside our catalog, and then perhaps you can have a kind of visit to here. We welcome you under KICT and also department, and then we will showcase to you all what we are having over here right now. Okay, that is the first one. So actually we are actually in the process of what we call encouraging our researcher to work on this manuscript, Okay, now we are having the memorandum of agreement between ISTEC, between the library with the AHAS KHS, so that they can what we call contributes towards the research in this platform. So if in under KICT, under Department Library Science, we do have Dr. Leyni over there. We do have Dr. Hafizuddin from USIM who would like to engage with our manuscript. You are most welcome. So since I'm in charge over here, so inshallah we try our best to hospitalize all of you. Okay, that is number one. For number two, yes, of course, we do have a kind of the project over here for your information, Dr. Zaidah. So actually we were actually begin our project for digitization of the manuscript 2 years back. That's mean we were began our project since 2020, 2021, and now 2022. Okay, we begin with the digitizing the Malay manuscript for 2020. So all finished. There are 98 manuscript, Malay manuscript already there inside our system, and then to share with among the members, the community of IEM, free. You can access, okay, without coming over here, go using this our in-house database, and then you can download for free. You can download, you can engage. If you want to put the transliteration or want to call annotated bibliography of our manuscript, most welcome. So using that particular platform, and then if you want to observe the physical part, yes, you request to us and then send us the information, send us the request. What are you looking for? What are the title, and then you can come over here. We facilitate you all. And then for the last year, we engaged to this particular project on the collection of the Turkish Ottoman Turkish. This is very beautiful manuscript to see, to tell you all. Dr. Zaidah, Dr. Nazlin, and the rest. Very beautiful. And then now it is already there inside our system. We are finished already for the second collection. And then now we are engaging to this Arabic manuscript this year. Okay, this year is Arabic manuscript. It is in the process, and then alhamdulillah, we would like to thank to the MAWIP, Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, who sponsored us and also fund us the equipment. The equipment was 320,000. Our scanner. Okay, we have over here a new scanner. We received early of this year. So one scanner for our original manuscript, 2 scanners for our microfilm. So this is to speed up the process of digitization. So now we are having over here, there are 2 scanners, overhead book scanners. Okay, this is for our original manuscript, and then we do have another 2 for microfilm scanner, very recent that we received. And then we thank to Mawib, Majelis Agama Islam Mawib, who fund this particular tools and equipment for us to digitize. And then all this available inside our database called manuscript.iim.edu.my. manuscript.iim.edu.my. So this is IIM manuscript from different formats. And then first and foremost, of course, for the original manuscript, we also have the format manuscript in the form of the microfiche, which we have over here in Seminal and Istek from Bosnia Herzegovina before the war. They sent to us. We do have a collection. There are 400 boxes comprised of many thousand titles, and then now we are in the process of digitize. We are also have at the what we call Gombak Campus Library, main campus, the microfiche. We do have over here microfilm, manuscript in form of the microfilm. At the Gombak Campus Library, we do have manuscript in the form of the microfiche. So there are also digitized under the same platform, the same project. Digitize the manuscript, come from the British Library that we are collect. There are millions pages and also thousands of titles from this British Library. We do have from the SOAS, South of African Studies. So these are our collection, all available inside this manuscript.iim.edu. For the teaser, anyone can download. We provide over there the bibliographic information. So the accession number and also the digitized images of the manuscript available there. So we do have the 2 types of the 2 format. First teaser and also the second is the full text. The full text can be accessible for our IM community, for our student, for our lecturer, for our staff. You just what we call put your barcode, library barcode name over there. And then you can download for free. But for non-members, they have to pay lah. They have to pay because we spend millions for this manuscript, and then we also, because of these millions, we are keep on answering to the question how many users, how many researchers come and then use our valuable resources. What are you promoting? Do you promote to others? So using this platform. Okay, this platform, I also invite all the audience, those who are join here, and those who will what we call see the record in the YouTube. Most welcome. Contact us in this Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Fazli. Actually, just to share with you, I will be there in this site, insyaAllah, tomorrow, meeting with Dr. Wan. So then, insyaAllah, if I have time, nanti bolehlah visit kan.
Yeah.
Nanti with Lisa also, insyaAllah, maybe we can arrange a visit lah, because we are also planning, because before the pandemic, Lisa organized several visits to libraries kan. But because of the pandemic, we stopped, and then we are now planning lah. Started back to plan to have several visits. So insyaAllah, Istek will be one of the in our list, insyaAllah. Looking forward to see Mr. Fazli and the team.
Okay, insyaAllah.
So Mr. Idris,
okay.
Thank you again, insyaAllah. Sorry on behalf of the department. Sorry for all the shortcomings. InsyaAllah kita jumpa lagi. Thank you again for your very fruitful and informative sharing session today. Assalamualaikum, Mr. Fazli.
And Dr. Hafiz from USIM, so you can also bring your students to here.
InsyaAllah, Brother Fazli.
Okay.
I have contacted you before, right? About related about the manuscript.
Okay, right. Doa.
Yeah.
So it's actually very hard to see the what we call the contents of the doa. Besides, we have to go through the manuscript itself, because the writing of the manuscript, it is different from the writing of the writing of the book. The writing of the manuscript is actually it depends the way that the student learn from the teacher, from the ulama. Sometimes we see it is based on the kitab. Sometimes it is based on the experience. The way that they organize is actually the notes of the student from their lecturer, from the ulama itself. So come, Dr. Hafiz, you can see.
Inshallah. Next time.
Okay, any question?
It's already 12:30, almost 12:30. So maybe we can have like one more question. Okay, I think there's one question posted in the chat. So so in the issue of Islamic literature, it is mentioned that sometimes it is a trap of Orientalist writing. My question is how to differentiate between an Islamic literature written by an Orientalist and a work that might be an Orientalist preaching. Is it hard to differentiate between these two?
Yes, actually I agree with you, Sister Asia, right? Because we cannot it is more likely it is Islam. It is more likely it is Islam. So what's the things that we can trigger is that the word of the Orientalist, sometimes they don't put their names as the writer itself, as the author. So although the writing is very good, the writing portrays the Islamic subject and also Islamic topic. So we have to be very ambiguous in terms of why these particular people don't want to share who are they. They are actually hiding from this kind of things. Okay, so with this, perhaps that's why I show to you all the classical book. Actually, that should be our reference. Besides, we refer to the social media. Besides, we refer to this what we call internet. I'm acknowledged that this is the time. This is the time that we want a very quick information by typing into this what we call this Google. For whatever you want, it is there. But the things is like this. Whether it is authoritative or it is very reliable, whether we can differentiate between this is from the Orientalist or this is from the Muslim. The other things you can always counterpart with what or the statement or the writing by between so-called very reliable compared to the Islam itself. So it is, if it is talk about the faith, for example, or muamalat, or it is talk about the Quran, so you refer to those who are writing in the Quran. Like I just mentioned to you all those kitab in the Quran, whether it is tafsir and tafsir. So you can refer to this tafsir and then see whether this is true or not. Always be compared. So that means we have to have in our mind for whatever the information that we get from online or from the sources that we don't know who are there. Always be careful and always refer back to our what we call Kitabul Mu'tabar, we call it, the very authoritative kitab, very authoritative kitab. Right now we have more in this what we call online version, in this Maktabah Waqfiyah. So all those books can download, but the only thing is that it is in Arabic, so you have the Arabic capability lah. And then I also encourage for our students or our lecturer who can translate all this book, all this classical book into Malay language or into English language. That should be very marvelous, so that we can what we call preach the Islamic studies using the what we call the authoritative, the reliable source, and then can be read by non Arabic spoken people. Okay.
Thank you, Sister Asia, for the question. I'm sure. Yeah, it's 3 minutes to 12:30. So I think we pretty much addressed all the questions from Dr. Zahida and from Sister Asia. So to make the event more memorable, so I'd like to request for everyone to turn on their webcam for a quick photo session. And Mr. Fazli, maybe you can arrange your camera so that we can see.
Okay. That's much okay.
All right. Let me change the layout first. Okay, Dr. Leyni.
All right. Are you ready, guys? All right. I will take a snap. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. Because I wanted to see all the participants. Let me just. All right. Again, yeah. All right. 1, 2, smile. All right.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Leyni. There's one more thing before we end the session. So I'd like to share this information on behalf of the event organizer. But before that, let me share the screen, the poster on the screen first. So can you all see my screen? Oops. Okay, as mentioned earlier, this event is organized by Department of Library and Information Science, or DLIS in short. So a brief introduction on the department. As you can see from the poster here, the department offers master and doctoral programs in library and information science with 2 modes of studies, coursework and mixed mode. And LIS has offered many career options for the graduates, such as knowledge manager, librarian, information consultant, information scientist, web content developer, lecturer, and many more. So there are many benefits that you can gain from this program. So first and foremost, this program is recognized by JPA and LAN. It has very high employment rate, especially for information and knowledge workers. The fee is affordable and you can get full guidance to graduate on time. So if you are interested to join the DLIS program and to discuss further, you may contact any of the DLIS member, or you may contact Dr. Zahida Zulkifli, the head of the DLIS. So their email addresses can be found on the DLIS KST website, or you can use the email address stated here. Okay. So now we have come to the end of the session. So once again, I'd like to express my gratitude to Mr. Fazli for taking his time and sharing this valuable information with us. And thank you, DLIS, KST, and IT unit for organizing this event. And finally, thank you to all participants for joining us. With that, let us end with Tasbih Kifara and Surat Al-As.
Subhanakallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Till then, thank you, Mr. Fazli, once again. Hope to see you again. Yeah, the next talk. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.